Hey guys, we've made it to the election of 1800. John Adams has been president for 4 years, and he is running for re-election as a Federalist, of course. His vice president, who is Thomas Jefferson and is a Democratic Republican, is also running in this election. So number one, who were the candidates and what party did they represent? We have those two guys going against each other again, just like 4 years ago, but we also have Charles Pinckney, who is a Federalist, and we have Aaron Burr, who is a Democratic Republican. Aaron Burr, remember, is the character from the Hamilton musical. He's the guy who has become a rival of Alexander Hamilton's. So you have multiple people from each party. We don't do it this way anymore, but they used to do it this way back then. And by the time we get to the end of this worksheet, you're going to understand how it changed and why it changed. Number two, what was peculiar about the electoral results? Remember, the Electoral College is how we determine a winner. In this last election in 2020, for example, Biden or Trump needed 270 electoral votes to win. In the year 1800, the number would not have been 270. It would have been much lower than that because our population has changed. But the idea is the same. But what's peculiar about this election is that it ended in a tie. Actually, it was a tie between Thomas Jefferson and Aaron Burr. So these are the guys here that are in a tie. John Adams and Charles Pinckney did not receive enough electoral votes to win either. So in the end, nobody received enough to win. So what happens in this case, if there's a tie or if no one wins the majority of electoral votes, the House of Representatives actually has to make the decision. They will cast votes in the House of Representatives to determine who will be the next president. So they do this over and over and over and over and over. They vote. They actually voted 36 times. So 35 times in a row, they could not get a winner. That's how hotly contested this election was. It kind of reminds me of the election we just had in 2020, Trump versus Biden. The numbers were so close. Number three, how does the 12th Amendment solve this problem? Well, the 12th Amendment, they decide to add it to the Constitution for a couple different reasons. Number one, when these two guys, I'm going to make my pen a little bit smaller here. When these two guys here were serving in the White House together, it became clear that having two people from different political parties in the same administration was a problem. They didn't get along and didn't work well together. So the 12th Amendment is going to help with that. But it also helps with this mathematical issue. It allows candidates to designate if they're running for president or vice president. In other words, they run on a ticket. So like in 2020, we had Biden-Harris. They ran on a ticket. When you went to vote, if you were voting for them, you knew that Biden was going to be president and Harris would be the vice president. You knew that Trump was running for president and Pence was running for vice president. So that's how the 12th Amendment changes things. It increases the likelihood that one of those tickets will win a majority of electoral votes. If you just throw a bunch of people's names in the hat and vote for somebody, the odds are way higher that you'll end up with a tie or that nobody will win a majority of the votes. So that's how the 12th Amendment helps. All right, so we solved this problem and we do it differently today, obviously. So what is the historical significance regarding the outcome of this election? Well, not only was it a tie, which doesn't happen very many times in our history, but it is also the first time political power transfers from one party to another, because on that 36th vote in the House of Representatives, they finally did choose Thomas Jefferson. And you'll find out from the Election of 1800 song from Hamilton that Alexander Hamilton actually played a role in this, even though he was not really serving in the government anymore. He's still a leader of the Federalist Party that people look to for advice. And you'll find out in the song how he played a role. So John Adams only serves 4 years as president. He loses re-election, and Thomas Jefferson becomes the president. And of course, Aaron Burr is going to be his vice president, because the 12th Amendment is not going to be added to the Constitution until the year 1804. So, I know this is really messy. I'm sorry. So the result is that after the election of 1800, you have Thomas Jefferson as your president and Aaron Burr as your vice president. That's the election of 1800.